Welcome back to another episode of Interesting True Crimes Media. I'm your host, Ball, and today we got a sick one today. An Atlanta mom was killed for exposing a man for being on the down low. The DL. That's crazy. Alright, without further ado, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this content, share this video, so this channel can grow and we can keep everybody aware of all the madness that's going on out here in this crazy world. Alright, without further ado, let's go to work.
Police say they were called out to the 39 Springside Drive Southeast just before 9 o'clock. They found Reese suffering from several gunshot wounds, and she succumbed to those injuries. Police say that there is now a short ring cam video that is showing the exact moment that her life was taken. We can't show you that video because it is simply just too graphic, but it does show a man shooting her multiple times after Reese appears to plead with him.
Her life was cut short, but the children still are here. They still got to be provided for.
Courtney leaves behind 3 girls, just 13, 9, and 6 years old, and an 11-year-old son.
She was a great mother, and we want them to have everything that we knew that she was going to do for them.
Their life is her legacy.
Courtney was joy. She was love. She was a protector. She was, a provider.
10 gunshots. That's what it took to silence Courtney Reese on August 20th, 2024. 10 bullets that shattered more than just glass and wood, they shattered a family. Her 4 babies were right there. Close enough to hear their mama fighting for her life. Close enough to hear her voice turn into screams. Close enough to feel the moment everything changed. The neighbors came running. 911 lines lit up. Red and blue lights flooded Springside Drive. But by the time paramedics got to her, Courtney was already gone. And the man who did it? He wasn't some stranger off the street. He was her ex, a man she used to trust, a man who'd been living a lie, and when she exposed that lie, he decided she had to pay for it with her life. The fights that turned deadly, the red flags everyone missed, the unspoken words left unsaid until it was too late. The shadow behind the curtains unveiled as we shine the light on shadowed stories that need to be told. This is Shadowed Crimes TV. Join us daily as we break down domestic violence cases. Hit the subscribe button and be part of the conversation that breaks the silence. Before her name became just another headline in Atlanta's growing list of tragedies, Courtney Reese was known for something else entirely: her laugh. The kind that would make people turn around and smile even when they didn't know what was so funny. She was 32 years old, living in Conyers, Georgia, raising 4 children all by herself, and 1 one-year-old son and 3 little girls ages 9, 6, and 3. Her home stayed full of life. School bags hitting the floor, cartoons playing in the background, and the smell of food she'd make from scratch, even after putting in long hours at work. Courtney was everybody's hype man, her family said. The one who'd pull up to birthdays and cookouts with her music turned all the way up, and her energy even louder than that. She was also the family's cook, the one who made sure there was always something warm on the table when life got cold. Her older sister once said, "She was joy. She was love. She was a protector." But joy wasn't all life had given her. Just 3 months before her own death, Courtney's father, Travis Edwards, buried another daughter, Citria Edwards, killed by a stray bullet at a family gathering back in May 2024. After losing her sister like that, Courtney made herself a promise she was going to pull her life together. She started focusing more on her kids, stepping back from the drama and the nightlife she used to lean on to escape the stress of being a single mother. She wanted peace. She wanted structure. She wanted something stable. But the man she'd been involved with, Derek Rankins, better known online as Big Derek Freur, he didn't want to let her go. Derek was somebody she'd met through local circles. Charismatic, street smart, the kind of man who always had attention on him. To people on the outside looking in, he seemed confident, maybe even protective. But girl, behind closed doors, Courtney's friends would later say that confidence looked a whole lot more like control. What started as affection grew into something possessive. He wanted to know where she was, who she talked to, what she posted. The relationship strained under all that pressure. And when he went to jail, the details of which are murky in the public record, Courtney saw a chance to reclaim herself. She started talking openly with friends about what she'd been through. She confided that she believed Derek was living a double life. She told people she discovered he was secretly involved with men, despite presenting himself as straight to everybody else. In her world, that was more than gossip. That was a dangerous truth. Atlanta's underground culture of down-low relationships carries a heavyweight secrecy, stigma, especially for men deeply tied to their image and masculinity. When word began to spread, so did Derek's anger. He was released from jail sometime before August 2024, and according to people close to Courtney, he immediately started looking for her. Friends online would later claim he'd been aggressively searching, desperate to confront her after what he saw as public humiliation. For him, it wasn't just heartbreak, it was exposure. And exposure was war. Courtney, meanwhile, tried to move forward quietly. She focused on her kids, kept her distance, avoided the drama that used to surround her. But deep down, she knew Derek's temper. Her family would later say she felt uneasy, that sometimes she'd look over her shoulder or hesitate before stepping outside after dark. It's easy to call what happened next revenge, but underneath that word was a storm of insecurity and rage. Derek had built an identity that couldn't survive the truth she told. For men like him, whose pride depends on power, being unmasked isn't just embarrassing, it's catastrophic. And Courtney was the one who had unmasked him. In the weeks leading up to her murder, the signs were there. The restless phone calls, the threatening messages, the sense that he was circling closer and closer. But Courtney had been through pain before. She had buried her sister. She had carried a family on her back, and she believed she could handle whatever came next. She didn't know that the same pride that once drew him to her would be the same force that would destroy them both. August 20th, 2024. A warm Tuesday night in southeast Atlanta. The clock on Springside Drive was creeping up on 9 p.m. when the quiet hum of the neighborhood got interrupted by the sharp crack of gunfire. Inside a small brick home, Courtney Reese's 4 children were winding down for the night. School clothes already laid out, television on low, the youngest already drifting off to sleep. Courtney had stepped outside for a moment, maybe to take a phone call, maybe just to catch some air. But waiting for her in that darkness was the man she used to call her boyfriend, Derek Rankins, the same man she'd been trying to stay away from. Witnesses later said there were no shouts, no argument, just a short, chilling silence. Then the first click of a jammed gun, a momentary pause before the end. Courtney pleaded with him. You could hear it faintly in the Ring camera footage that would later circulate online. A desperate voice trying to reason with someone whose anger had already crossed the point of no return. Then came the shots. 10 of them, each one echoing down the street, bouncing off houses where other families dropped to the floor in fear. Inside, her children heard everything. Their mother's cries, the chaos outside, the final thud of silence. The oldest tried to shield the younger ones, not yet old enough to understand that the sounds outside weren't fireworks, that the nightmare unfolding was real. When police arrived, neighbors pointed toward the driveway. Derek was already gone. Courtney was still there, barely breathing. Paramedics worked frantically, but by the time they loaded her into the ambulance, her pulse was gone. She was 32 years old. The next morning, Atlanta woke to another headline about another woman killed by someone who claimed to love her. But for the Edwards family, this wasn't news. This was déjà vu.
Tonight, we know the identity of a woman shot to death last night while the search for her killer continues. This right here is 32-year-old Courtney Reese. Her aunt tells us she was a mother of 4 and was still alive when EMS arrived, but she later died at the scene. The shooting happened around 9 last night on Springside Drive. It's still unclear what led to the shots being fired. Atlanta police are still investigating.
Within hours, the ring cam video began to circulate across social media. Some people shared it to help identify the shooter. Others, they just shared it out of morbid curiosity. The grainy footage of Courtney's final moments became viral. Content a woman's death replayed again and again by strangers who didn't even know her name. Her family begged people to stop. One cousin wrote online, "Y'all speaking on things you don't know. Dude got caught having sex with another man. My little cousin exposed him." She wasn't trying to start gossip. She was trying to explain what no one seemed to understand, that this wasn't random violence. It was revenge born out of humiliation. Another family member pleaded, "Stop reposting that video. That's someone's mother, someone's sister." But the internet doesn't do mercy. The video spread anyway, stripping away the last bit of dignity from a woman who had already lost everything. As the days passed, grief turned into anger. Courtney's father, Travis Edwards, was forced to relive the same agony he had endured just 3 months earlier when another daughter, Citria Edwards, was shot and killed by a stray bullet at a family repast. Now, he was planning another funeral. 2 daughters gone in 90 days. Make it make sense. On August 23rd, friends, relatives, and neighbors gathered at the spot where Courtney had fallen. They brought purple balloons, her favorite color, and speakers that played her favorite songs. The street where she had taken her last breath became a celebration of her life, a bittersweet echo of the parties she used to host herself.
She was a vibe, the life of the party.
Her infectious smile is keeping her grieving family's spirit high.
She was everybody's hype man. She was everybody's cook.
Courtney Reese remembered tonight with purple balloons, music, and love.
It's a party. It's a celebration like she would have had any other day.
Lena is Courtney's older sister.
She didn't deserve this. Her kids will miss her sisters, her brother, her dad, her mom.
The 32-year-old shot 10 times at this home along Springside Drive, south of Cleveland Avenue, Tuesday night. Flowers are now in the place she took her last breath. In a video too graphic to play, Courtney pleads with someone before shots are fired. That person ran away. No arrests have been made.
Her life was cut short, but the children still are here. They still gotta be provided for.
Courtney leaves behind 3 girls, just 13, 9, and 6 years old, and an 11-year-old son.
She was a great mother, and we want them to have everything that we knew that she was gonna do for them.
Their life is her legacy.
Courtney was joy. She was love. She was a protector. She was, a provider.
Now, Atlanta police still investigating this case. They really want anybody from the community that has valuable information, saw or heard anything, to submit tips to them.
"It's a party," her sister Lena said through tears, trying to keep her voice from breaking. A celebration like she would have had any other day. People laughed between sobs, shared stories, danced the way Courtney would have wanted them to. They released the balloons into the dusky sky, hundreds of them floating above the city she loved. The children watched, clutching the hands of their aunts and uncles, too young to understand the ritual, but old enough to feel the loss. "She did not deserve this," Lena said softly. "Her kids will miss her. Her sisters, her brother, her dad, her mom. We all will." In another corner of the crowd, a family friend whispered to a reporter, "We're tired of losing our women. We're tired of the violence." That night, the music faded slowly. Candles burned until the wax melted into the pavement. The smell of smoke mixed with tears They danced through grief, refusing to let her final memory be only gunfire. Moving on. As the Edwards family mourned, Atlanta police were already working to track down the man they believed responsible. Her family already knew from the beginning it was him and started pressuring the police. Detectives pieced together witness accounts, video evidence, and social media activity. Every clue pointed to Derek Rankins, the ex-boyfriend Courtney had feared might come after her. Within days, Rankins' photo was circulated citywide. He was wanted for murder, considered armed and dangerous. Officers warned that he had already threatened others and was unlikely to surrender peacefully. For nearly a week, he vanished. Rumors placed him everywhere from the west side of Atlanta to the outskirts of Henry County. Then, on August 27th, the trail led authorities to Stockbridge, a quiet suburb 30 miles south of the city. That afternoon, members of the U.S. Marshals Service and Henry County Police Department, working with Atlanta police, surrounded a house in the Swan Lake subdivision. They believed Rankins was hiding inside. What was supposed to be a swift arrest turned into a tense standoff. According to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, Rankins fired at officers during the attempt to serve the warrant. A member of the Atlanta Police Department assigned to the fugitive task force was struck and wounded. Law enforcement returned fire. When the gunfire stopped, they found Rankins dead inside the house.
Say they identified Rankins as a suspect, and tonight, Chief Shearbaum says Rankins is dead after an hours-long standoff.
This is what we train for. We recruit men and women who have a quality to stand in the gap for their communities. We train weekly and regularly to make sure when an individual who poses harm to a community doesn't want to go back to jail, that we can do so with the least risk to the citizens in the area.
The GBI launched an independent officer-involved shooting investigation to determine exactly how he died. Whether his fatal wound came from the officer's gunfire or his own hand remains unclear in public records. What is clear is that the manhunt ended not with an arrest or a confession, but with another body. In the words of one neighbor watching from her porch that day, "It's like the violence just keeps circling. Nobody wins. With Rankins dead, there would be no trial, no cross-examination, no moment for Courtney's family to look him in the eyes and demand answers. Justice ended in a gunfight, not a courtroom." For Travis Edwards, there were now 2 graves and 4 grandchildren to raise. For Lena and the other siblings, there were birthdays that would never be celebrated together again. And for Courtney's children ages 11, 9, 6, and 3, there were long nights filled with questions no one could answer. The youngest sometimes asks when mommy is coming home. The oldest, old enough to understand, doesn't ask at all. And though her killer would never face trial, the story of Courtney Reese remains a testament to how secrets, shame, and silence can become as deadly as any weapon. In the weeks that followed, Atlanta tried to move on. But for those who loved Courtney Reese, time stood still. Her name faded from the news cycle, but her story lingered, whispered in conversations about jealousy, secrets, and shame. The man who killed her wasn't a stranger. He was a reflection of how fragile ego can become when truth threatens to unravel it. Courtney's death exposed something larger than one relationship gone wrong. It revealed the danger that hides inside control, the belief that a partner's silence is owed, that exposure is an attack, that truth is a weapon. For Derek, being outed was more than embarrassment. It was destruction. For Courtney, telling the truth was supposed to be freedom. In the end, both became trapped in the same storm, one by rage, the other by love. Her 4 children now live with that absence every single day. The oldest carries memories he wishes he could forget. The youngest still asks when mommy is coming back. Her family keeps her spirit alive through them, birthdays celebrated, holidays softened with laughter that never feels quite the same. Friends say she still feels present, like her energy never left, only shifted into the people who loved her most. Let me tell you something. Courtney's story is one of them, a reminder that truth should never be fatal. That love without respect is just possession. And that silence, once broken, should not cost a life. She was a mother, a daughter, a sister, and a light that refused to dim quietly. And though her voice was silenced on that August night, her name still echoes across Springside Drive. Her name was Courtney Reese, and her truth deserves to be remembered. Hit that subscribe button for Shadowed Crimes TV. We're not just telling stories here. We're honoring lives. We're demanding justice. We're making sure women like Courtney Reese are never forgotten. Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And if you know someone who might be in danger, don't stay silent. We'll be back with another story, another name, another life that mattered.
First off, condolences to the fallen side. All right. Let me say something. Men, I feel that regardless of your sexuality, whether you're straight, gay, whatever you identify with, that's between you and the Lord. All right. You know how you can fix this? Just tell whoever you're dating your truth. If you live in your truth and live in your light, can't nobody keep you in the darkness. See this how the devil play. Like this, see this how the devil play on you right here. He want to torment you in darkness. Right? But when you're free, you don't have to worry about that. I know myself, nothing concerning no down low, but I had a book, I still have a book called Confessions of a Midnight Man that talk about a lot of my darkest encounters and how I grew up being the animal that I grew up as far as with the opposite sex. And that tormented me until I just brought my darkness to the light. You know, nobody got to lose their life behind your darkness. That's not right. But at the same time, you should never let no one place you in a heaven or a hell because they don't have one for you to go in on this earth. This is a tragic, tragic story. All because somebody didn't want to live in their truth. Let this be a lesson and warning to all. All right, y'all get in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this particular story. It's a sad one. All right, you know my motto. The only time crime pays is on the internet. This ball, I'm signing off.